are you ready for your homework? Are you ready for the homework? Woman, give me the name of the woman who invented the bulletproof fiber, okay, called Kevlar.
This
okay,
is
so that
according to Michelle's. Come on in and enjoy the show.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of According to Michelle. How are you doing? How are you doing? Let's check the temperature in the room. How are you? Are you doing okay? Are you doing fine? Oh my goodness. So I've had quite an interesting couple of days, and that's, I guess, putting it mildly, I guess. So and I'm coming along day by day. Do have my moments, but I thank God for the many persons that have been just checking in on me, checking in on my family, um, just checking on our general well-being. And I appreciate the prayers, I appreciate the calls and the check-ins. Um, yeah, so this is the month of March, Women's Month, and for those of you who have been following, but the very first day I did a tribute to my mom, which was a video from last year for Mother's Day. I had a live, persons were asked to call in. My sister had called in, and we did a toast and a tribute to our mother. So I did a replay of that on the first day of March. And so just bring everybody up to speed. If you didn't know, my mom passed on in February. And so the first day of March, which is really her month actually, was used to honor her memory. And so, like I said, each day going on, step by step, the Lord has been good. And as I said, I appreciate everyone that has either called or checked in, who texted, who messaged, who came to visit. I really appreciate everybody who did their little part. It didn't go unnoticed. I truly appreciate it. And words cannot express how much I am in gratitude. So today's episode, we're going to do some little trivias for women. All right, so my whole aim was to just find the first woman. So sometimes when they're searching, they break it down according to ethnicity, but I just wanted to say, okay, what's the first woman? That's what I really wanted. From it's a woman, regardless of the race, who is she? What did she do? So for some of the things, it broke it down into different things, and I'm like, nah, I didn't want to focus on it like that. If they're a woman, they're a woman. You know what I'm saying? I know with data and collecting information, they tend to split us up into groups. But okay, so I have many categories, and not many. I have some categories, and I have the answers as well. I'm gonna give you one to do it for your homework, to put it in the comments. Okay, so you're gonna have one for homework to put in your comments, and I will give you the answers as I go along for a couple of them. So get ready. Are you ready? Welcome to Michelle's Women's Trivia. Okay, or in case you didn't know, kind of a situation. In case you didn't know, it's all here for you, okay? So, are you ready for your homework? Are you ready for the homework? By the way, before we even continue, have you liked this video yet? Did you share this video? Somebody needs to know some of this information, because we're going to celebrate women. Even though some of these women are long and gone, these are our ancestors. Some of them are living legends. Some of them lived in an era before we did. It's still good to celebrate. You know me already. I'm always celebrating. So yeah, share this video. Let somebody else know the good news out there. Get some new information about what women have been up to over the years. So are we ready for your homework? I'm trying to make this one quite interesting. Let me see. Okay. I'm going to pick one, okay? So we've had women inventors over the years. Some based on my research, what they were saying that for some of the periods, some of the patents, when they were registering their patents, they had to use maybe their spouse's name or some male person that they're affiliated in order for it to be recognized. So for a good while, some of the true context of what women did were not recognized because we were women. However, there are some women whose invention couldn't go unnoticed. And I think they were also explaining that some of the time, if they were a woman, they had to go so great, they had to put more effort into what they were talking about in their pattern, that sometimes the impression I got was like it almost devalued what they were talking about, so it didn't give them much weight. In the end, it turned around to do them more bad than good. So it's just interesting to see what women had to go through to even just get themselves the due credit that is due. And that's why we're gonna say, you know what? I'm gonna do this. It was a list of some interesting inventions and stuff. So when you get the chance, go through and what you call it, and see some of them for yourselves. Okay. All right. So you ready for the homework? Okay. Here we go. The woman. Give me the name of the woman who invented the bulletproof fiber. Okay. Called Kevlar. Okay. So that this bulletproof vest that a lot of people have to use, whether they're in the military or the police or whatever job requires protection from gunfire. This particular woman is known to have invented the fiber that is used to create the bulletproof vest. So what's her name? Okay? Put it in the comments. And who knows, the first person who does it, you may get a prize. Let's see how it goes. Okay? All right. Cool. All right. So let's start. And I don't want to look which category we're going to start. Bam. Okay. The first category we're going to look at is music. Ready? All right. Tell me the name of this group. No. You know what? No, I'm not going to do it that way. Okay, let's think about Motown. Let's think about Detroit, buzzing with Motown vibes back in the day. And this group of women, right, was one of Motown's successful acts during the 1960s and one of the world's best-selling girls group of all times. Let me hear it. Tell me. You want me to give you a hint? It's the Supremes. The Supremes are one of Motown's finest. Okay, so you can't talk about Motown and don't talk about the Supremes. All right, ready for the next one? The first female to win a Grammy. The first female to win a Grammy. Let me see if anybody can find that one. I'm listening. All right. So let me give you a hint. April is known as Jazz Month. So this person is jazz is the jazz famous or finest. Okay, her name is Ella Fitzgerald. Ella Fitzgerald is the first female to win a Grammy. Okay. Whoop, whoop. All right. Ready for this one now? We're going back to Detroit or Michigan area for this one for music. So that's the hint. I'm giving a hint before I even start. All right. Okay. The first woman, ready, to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Who's that? R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Find out what it means to me. R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Na 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 na. Suck it to me, suck it to me, suck it to me, suck. Yes, you got it. Aretha Franklin. Yes. Respect. Hey. Ah, bless her heart. Rest in peace, Queen. Yeah, so she's the first woman to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. All right, we respect, hey, respect. All right, so we're gonna go over to the inventions now. The inventions. I remember I was giving you a little background to that. Okay, so if you know me well, one of my favorite desserts is ice cream. And so the ice cream maker was invented by Nancy Johnson in 1843. Nancy Johnson. Now, everybody has access to YouTube, IG, Facebook, and we're always talking about this algorithm. Okay? I've never heard so much conversation about algorithm in my life since most recently, especially since I've started, going into the whole YouTube world, uploading videos, making sure you have the right information, the right wording, so that your videos can hit correctly and so on and so forth. However, this whole thing about computer algorithms is from before even our time, way back in the early days when this whole thing of putting the computer together was coming to pass. And Ada Lovelace is a person who first invented, the female who first invented the computer algorithm in 1843. So whatever version of the computer they had back then, she was the first person to invent the whole concept of the computer algorithm. All right. How many persons love board games? I enjoy doing the board games. I've not done any in a long while, but I love doing those board games and table games. And one of the ones I like, I fall in love with it more. I love Uno. I love Jenga. But we're not talking about Uno or Jenga or even dominoes. We're talking about something that's called the first Monopoly game. The first Monopoly game. It was actually called the landlord's game. And the whole concept for the woman who made it was to bring or shine a light on capitalism and, I guess, educate persons around that part. I don't want to put words into the mouth of what I didn't find in my research, okay? But it was originally called the landlord's game. And it was patented 30 years before a man who created a similar game called the Monopoly. So, and he created it like 30 years after, called it Monopoly, then sold it to the Parker brothers. So the Monopoly that we know now came out after this lady, and her name is Elizabeth Maggie, invented the first Monopoly game. Well, of course, it was called something else. But hers was on for like 30 years prior, all right, to the one that we know now. Okay. All right, let's go to another invention. Let's go to another invention. The next one is the first medical syringe. So back in the day, I guess they had to use two hands to use the syringe. I can't figure out how, but because I know how to use the syringe now. And so the person who created the first one-handed syringe, um, that medical professionals are now using, is called Letitia Gare, right? And that was invented in sorry, 1899. That one was created in 1899. Oh my goodness, the medical syringe, okay? The medical syringe. I'm sure many persons are going to be excited about this invention because I'm sure it has saved many households from having to stand and do this particular chore manually. All right, so this one is called the dishwasher. Yes, that dishwasher that is in your kitchen for some persons. Um, the dishwasher was invented in 1870. This particular one, because there were other prototypes, but her design was the first one that used water pressure to remove the dirt than using scrubbers. So I guess they're using scrubbers. I can't figure out what that would look like because I know what we have now, and of course they've improved on it over the years. But hers was the I guess the best option that was out of all that was there. Hers was the best option, and her name is Josephine Cochran. In 1872, she invented the dishwasher that used water pressure. Okay, so there were other prototypes, but they gave her the green light in terms of she being the first person creating the dishwasher. All right, cool, awesome. So we did the Monopoly game, the medical syringe, the dishwasher, the computer algorithm, the ice cream maker. All right, and remember the homework. Did you get the homework? Did you get the homework? The homework is, who is the female that invented the bulletproof fiber Kevlar? Okay, who is the person who did that? All right. So we're moving on to the last category that I have here. My last category is sports. You know, I can't do something like this and don't have sports. I'm telling you. I love sports. And don't forget to check out that video I did on Black History Sports. It's one of my best in terms of viewing. I have a good viewership on that video. But the information and the content on it is superb. Okay, looking at the athletes of over a period of time that did some phenomenal stuff. Maybe a lot of them were first, knowing that a lot of them were first in their kind, or they matriculated such a way that they were notarized because of what they did compared to their other counterparts. So that's a good video to check out as well. All right, I'll put the link for it right there. Okay. All right. So ready now? These two young ladies are my sweet darlings. When I thought about this, I said, there's no way I can do this without mentioning them. And it's Venus and Serena Williams. Yep. My darlings of tennis. All right. So we know that they came on the scene in the 90s, and they dominated the tennis world for 3 decades. And individually they have records, and together they have records. But I wanted to focus on the ones they have together because it's still monumental. It still stands out. It is what you call it? No, it stands out. It still goes down in record for the best of stuff. So had to mention it. Okay, so Ready? Okay. Um, so they dominated tennis for 3 decades. Together, they have 22 US Open titles, 14 Grand Slams, and 3 Olympic medals. And that's just phenomenal, phenomenal, phenomenal. And when I was doing my research, I remember they mentioned Steffi Graf, and I remember the first time I was getting into the whole understanding of tennis, that was she was the individual that was, the one to beat. So eventually Serena has surpassed her record, as it relates to the record that she used to hold. So as I said, they both have their own rankings on either side, but together I wanted to focus on what they did. All right. So then I went over to the Olympic Games. I'm like, you know what? Let me see what happened in the Olympic Games for women. All right. So based on the modern era in terms of Olympic Games, the first games where female or women were allowed to do anything was in 1900, the 1900 games in Paris. And then they started with 2 individual disciplines. The individual disciplines were tennis and golf. Then they had a couple of team ones that the women could perhaps do along with their male counterparts, and that was sailing and this game called coop or crop. It's basically, it's like a no, it's a wooden stick with a little thing on the end that you use to knock some balls through some little uprights like that. I've seen it, but I didn't know that was the name of the sport. And sailing, I mentioned that. And then there was another thing I can't remember right now, because I guess because I didn't focus on it so much, because that was not what they said a woman won in, but they did mention it as something that women did. All right, so in tennis for that year, the first woman to win the women's single was Charlotte Cooper. Charlotte Cooper. In sailing, so this was a lady who entered under the Swiss team, but she was originally an American by birth. So she entered on the Swiss team and she sailed in the category of boats that were 1 to 2 tons. Okay, and when I did my research, it was 3 persons. I think that made up. I think I made up 3 names. It could be 2 because her name alone is very long, as well as I said, I could make up 3 sets of names, but because the focus was on her, I just did that additional stuff for research. Anyway, so her name is Helene de Portelets. It's French, so I apologize if I'm not doing it justice. I apologize. So she's a person who won the gold medal for sailing. So when I did my research, it was 2 days. It was a 2-day event. And I think she medaled in the both, because when I looked, one was a gold and the other one was a silver. So it was a 2-day event. For golf, the person who won the golf for women was Margaret Abbott, and basically what they're saying, she was a part of a Chicago golf club. So this was the first event, and as the time progressed, as time progressed, let me just say that way. As time progressed, they began to add other disciplines for women to do. So archery was added, and that's when I did my research. I know archery was added next. I know eventually stuff like javelin and not javelin, discus and stuff was also added. But initially when they started with tennis and golf. All right, tennis and golf. So yep, that's it for my little trivia. I hope you learned something. And that's it. Make sure you share this video. Hit like, and if you have not subscribed to this channel, make sure to hit the subscription button, and enjoy the rest of your day. Okay, thank you so much for taking time out to watch this video today. And remember the homework. Okay, the homework is, who is the female inventor for the bulletproof fiber Kevlar? All right, thank you so much for making it according to Michelle's. Do have a great rest of your day, and God bless you. Don't forget to take care of you, because there's only one you.